Hello everyone, Cheryl Ann here. I thought I would take the time today to reveal my top 2 books that I read in 2024. And I only have a copy of one of them. So I'm going to have to look back in my journal for the other one. But I do believe my top book for 2024 was A Thousand Splendid Suns by the author of The Kite Runner, Khalid Hosseini. It grabbed me from the first page, and for me to like a book, it has to grab me from the first paragraph, at the very least the first page, and I literally could not put this book down. I must admit, be prepared. Have a box of Kleenex, because you're going to need it. It's about women in Afghanistan in about 1979 as the war with the Soviet Union begins, and their culture. And, I studied Middle Eastern history and civilization in college, but, I really wasn't prepared for honestly, the brutality. It just tore at my heart. So, it's a good book. Just be prepared. I read it last spring, and it took me months to even pick up another book. I finally picked up just a book of fluff, and I read it just to cleanse my memory. I don't know. I still, this is my copy. I have another copy that I put out in my little free library, but I'm keeping this one. So he is also the author of The Kite Runner. Now, I have not read this one. And he has another book, And the Mountains Speak, I think. And the Mountains Echoed. There it is. I have not read that one, and I have not read Kite Runner, but you know what? I'm keeping this one. Also, I have another copy out in my little free library. So those two I'm keeping. One I've read, and then the other one I have not read. And then this, The Women, this would be my number 2 book for 2024. It's a book about the women in Vietnam, the nurses, in this case the army nurses, and what they went through. And even though they were not in combat, they did serve the soldiers that were, and it took its effect on them too. I mean, they had PTSD just as badly as the men. This is my review that I put in my journal. So I'm kind of glad I did that, because I had a copy that I put out in my little free library, and it was gone in a day. And then a really nice lady brought it back, and it sat there for a day, and it was gone again. I don't think I'm gonna get it back. I think this one I did stamp please return, so we shall see. I also read Where the Crawdads Sing, and I really loved this book. A lot of people don't like it, and I don't understand. Maybe it's because I identified with her as an introvert and a nature lover, but this one really stayed with me. I also have a copy of this that I'm keeping. I really, I really enjoyed it. It is kind of a murder mystery, so I also had it in large print, and that one went out, and I've had 2 copies. Every time I see a copy of it, I buy it. I have had 2 copies that I put out in my little free library, and they have gone. So I do have my own copy. Here's my page on A Thousand Splendid Suns, Graveyard of Empires, Afghanistan, and that's for sure. It certainly is. So that's the spread I did on it. And then for nonfiction, I really liked, I think these pages are sticking together. I really liked the Deerfield Massacre. I actually have ancestors that the father and the son were captured and they were force marched up into Canada. And the husband lost his wife and some of his children, but one of his sons did survive and came back to Connecticut. And as is typical of the time, he took another wife and had more children, and she was killed. I'd say it's time for him to give it up. There it is, The Deerfield Massacre. This is by James Swanson, and he also wrote the book about Manhunt, the hunt for Lincoln's killer, which I started. He's a good writer. For nonfiction, I really liked this one, and I liked the one about Lincoln. So this is a typical house in Deerfield. Deerfield was located on Native American pathways and trails. It was a really stupid spot to build a town by the white people, but they did, and they kept getting attacked and attacked and attacked. And it's a good read. It's an easy read. I thought it was easy, but I was really interested in it. So yes, it was quite brutal. And this cabin, the only thing to survive was the door. And the only reason the door survived is that the settlers studied it with nails, and the Indians couldn't break it down. And it's now in a museum. See, they did take women and children as prisoners. Oh, and it talks about how the Indians came into the village at night and they wore snowshoes so the settlers on guard wouldn't hear them coming. It's really interesting. So I hope maybe that motivates you to look up some of these books. I buy my books either on thrift books or I find them in library bookstores or library friends, or sometimes I'll buy this one. I think I bought new on Amazon. I did spend the money for that, but Amazon also has used books. But I really like thrift books. You can also find them on eBay. So if you have any questions, do leave them below and I'll get back to you. Happy reading. Bye for now.